40 weeping willows as they were sucking up all. They said, why is our reservoir? Dandelions are going to be right at home with all this organic fertilizer.
The scientific story has become very clear. And, you know, all of the science agencies, the National Academy of Science, the American Geophysical Union, the American Meteorological Society, and all the international studies come up with the same conclusion, that we can't burn all the fossil fuels without creating a completely different planet. In fact, if we burn all the fossil fuels, we will melt all the ice on the planet, and sea level will be 250 feet higher. You know, so even in the lifetime of these young kids, we could get sea level rise of a few meters, which would mean all coastal cities would become dysfunctional. And more than half of the large cities in the world are coastal cities. So the economic consequences are incalculable, and the social consequences, because you'd be talking about hundreds of millions of refugees, not a million like in the Middle East now today, but hundreds of millions. So the planet could become ungovernable. You know, so it's really an important issue, but it's one which is very hard to get the public to pay attention to, and therefore our governments are able to get away with policies which are half-assed and half-baked and very ineffectual. The truth is that the fossil fuel industry still largely controls both political parties in the U.S. And the reason this is very unfortunate is that a solution actually makes economic sense. All we have to do is make the price of fossil fuels honest by including their cost to society. The effect of air pollution and water pollution from fossil fuels on human health is itself very costly. If your child gets asthma, the fossil fuel company won't, and it's from air pollution, you won't, the fossil fuel company won't pay for this. You have to pay for yourself. And likewise, the climate effects are not included in the cost of the fuel. So what we should do is add a gradually rising fee to fossil fuels that you would collect at the domestic mine or port of entry. And if you give all the money to the public, an equal amount to all legal residents, then actually most people come out ahead.
Climate change worries me a lot because it's going to be my generation that's affected the most by it.
He really got out to people. I felt like he spoke so strongly, and he's one of the more famous climate scientists. So you would think that people would take more, how you say, they would think of him as his speech more importantly than just the average person.
We always said, 30 years ago, oh, if we have the science, we're going to make the right decision. Well, that hasn't happened, right? We have all the science. The science is on our side. But there's the lack of will, even though that's changing. And Gus Speth talked about this and saying, wow, us scientists, we don't know how to deal with greed and apathy and selfishness, right? But these are the things, people in this room and other places, you're none of that, right? And as we fill the room more every year, there's less and less of that apathy that's happening. And again, it's really a no-brainer, right? So I don't know if anyone touched on this earlier, but just the idea of going down the fracking route. We're talking about, originally they talked about 25 years worth of gas. Now it's down to 6 years of gas, right, as they look at this. Are we really willing to give up our water for 6 years of natural gas?